Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the TNT podcast. As always, it's Tyler Layfield and with my boy Torres Finney. How's it going, Torres?
What's up, baby? What's going on, man? I am happy to be here once again. Got one of my close friends now, quarterback in Indiana, Dexter Williams. How you doing, Dexter?
What's going on with y'all? I'm
Good.
glad to be here. I'm glad you contacted me to be on the show. It's a pleasure.
No problem.
Pleasure is ours, man. The pleasure is ours. So, Dexter, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you come from? What city you from? Where'd you play high school?
My name is Dexter Williams. Right now I'm from Macon, Georgia. I've lived here for a long time. My roots are from Sparta, Georgia. A little bit past Millersville. I went to Mount DeSales Academy, private school here in Macon. Won a lot of games. I'm at and then I'm at Indiana now. Playing football.
Yeah. All right. So Indiana is where you ended up choosing to go for college. So during your recruitment, I'm a big recruitment nerd. So what was your recruitment process like, and who were some of your top teams throughout that process?
My recruitment was different. Coming from, I was a late bloomer, really. My 10th grade year, I didn't have much. We had success, got a winning record, but I wasn't the best. I wasn't one of the best players on the field. I probably one of the worst players on the field each time I stepped on there. But my 11th grade year, I know I stepped it up a little bit. I worked hard in the off season, and after my 11th grade year, I during the spring I got a lot of offers. My first came actually in December from Sanford University, but then it started popping off in the spring with the FBS schools, and
yeah,
it was a kind of a really quick process because I got jumped in the spring and I committed in June. It wasn't I kind of as a quarterback you kind of they get their quarterbacks early in the recruitment process. A lot of people are already committed like as a junior as a quarterback, but I was just then getting recruited. But it popped off really well. I ended up with about 20 something offers.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, don't let him, Tyler. Don't let him sit down here and downplay himself.
He's being humble, man. He's being humble.
That's really good. Good job being humble.
There you go, man.
The boy is two-time Region Offensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
His final 2 years in playing high school, he had 5,088 total yards and 61 touchdowns. That's 2 years. Come on, man.
What kind of offense were y'all running, man?
Don't let him downplay that.
We was running a little bit of everything. From week to week, sometimes we'd have a little bit of triple option. Sometimes we wouldn't have the triple going, depending on who we were playing. We'd have we'd have a slew of passing concepts in there, and we had a really good running back. So zone running team. We had a couple power plays in there, like belly and your traditional power plays. But we ran a little bit of everything. I couldn't even tell you. Some guys call it spread. Some people say pro style. Some people call it a read option offense or zone option or whatever they call it. But I just say we featured our playmakers from week to week.
I hear you. So you were talking about you committed pretty early. So before you made the decision to go to Indiana, who else was like in your ear? Who were you really close to maybe coming close to committing to?
That's a funny story because when Indiana recruited me, that was like my first Power 5, and it was really big to me when they decided give me a chance. But I'd say I loved when I went down to UCF. That was a great visit. I actually went to Georgia State, which is a big surprise. Georgia State, I really liked Georgia State. It was close to home, and it was a program that I could possibly rebuild, and we had done that in high school, and I was a big fan of that. Even at Indiana right now, we're in kind of a rebuilding process. Even though we won 8 games last year, we're trying to win more and be a part of that Big Ten championship conversation. But UCF and a couple big ones. what's another big one? I mean, when I committed, that was around the time when all the big boys started coming in, like Michigan State started talking to me, Syracuse,
Really good.
George asked me to come to a camp, but I mean, it was really like a really fast process, and
Yeah.
I kind of jumped on Indiana real quick. I took a visit up there, and I felt the love, and it felt like home, and it's still home. So, I mean, I made a good decision, but I mean, I'd probably go UCF number one. Miami of Ohio was number two before they got a big commitment. Let's see. I would say Troy was in there.
Yeah,
Troy
yeah.
was in there from the jump. Even when I was a junior, like during my junior season, I took like a visit or two up there, and then I'd say Georgia State would be number three.
Okay.
Okay.
Good little list there.
Yeah,
Good,
UCF
good.
was right up under Indiana because obviously I chose Indiana.
Yeah, of course, of course. Now we feel it. So let's see. So going into kind of the Big Ten, you just mentioned, the Indiana, you're trying to build into, becoming, future Big Ten championship contender,
Powerhouse.
right? Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So, but obviously things have changed here as of recent. We got some news that the Big Ten is canceling football for this season. And really, what are your thoughts here, man? Coming from a player, coming right from your mouth, man, and just coming from a perspective of the athletes that are playing, in the Big Ten Conference. What are your guys' thoughts right now?
It. You've heard it. It hurts. I mean, it really hurts. We got guys who, waited their whole life to, maybe this is their year that they break out, have a big season. They work really hard in the off season, and it hurts, man. Like we've been feeling it coming. Honestly, we really wanted answers for a long time. We really didn't care if it was we are playing or we aren't playing, but now that they've given us a solid answer and that we're not playing. I mean, it hurts, guys, coming out on social media, even like, they're older and they're losing a year maybe, and, seniors, they'll probably, get another year, but other guys, I mean, aren't getting another year. If they redshirt after this year, this will, what I'm saying, they'll get a year after this off, so that'd be 2 years that they're sitting out. But I mean, yeah, all I can say is it hurts. Everybody wants to play football, and you can tell by all the social media posts.
I was saying the same thing too, bro. I was looking at this and I was like, man, when August hits, everybody know what time it is.
Exactly.
August, September, October, we know what time it is. It's football season. The flags, the pads clacking, the helmet smacking, like it's time.
Coming from Georgia, you already know.
Exactly.
That's right. You got it.
All you already see, Georgia high school is still playing their football. And, that is what's so funny when you look at it, all of this overall. I mean, you got guys like Iowa, in the Big Ten, they're canceled. But Iowa State, who's in the same state as them, is playing football. So, like, how is this making sense?
Seriously.
And, it's weird because, me being a senior, UTC Thursday, this past Thursday, just canceled their football season. So, we
sorry to hear about that.
We're trying to figure out things too. We had this option. I was about to ask you that question. We was given that option to play 3 non-conference games. Have Indiana talked about partaking in that non-conference?
I haven't really heard much since that initial meeting that when they told us that we wouldn't have a season anymore. But I mean, I hope that they come up with something. I haven't heard of that yet. I've heard that going around for other schools, but I haven't heard it for Indiana. But I hope they come up with something. I've heard, as the petition with Justin Fields. We'll see everything that goes on. Ultimately, it's the medical staff decision around the Big Ten and around all the Power 5 conferences if we play or not. So it's not really up to the players. It's up to the medical staff at each school, and then if they come together and come to a conclusion.
Yeah, so I know that one thing that has been tossed around with like the Big Ten, Pac-12, those conferences that are currently canceling fall. They're talking about possibly playing in the spring, as an alternative. And you hear altering opinions, like you got some people coming out saying, like Urban Meyer, he came out and said it's not going to happen. Spring, that it's just something, it's not realistic. But then you have others that are more optimistic. I think it was like Ryan Day out of Ohio State. He's talking about how it could possibly end up being something that could really work out, and they would have like some type of champion. I'm wondering how the College Football Playoff Committee is going to handle this, or how we're going to name a champion this year with
Right.
two of the Power Five conferences out of the loop. So it's kind of weird. But what are your thoughts on maybe playing in the spring?
I'm optimistic, like you said.
Mhm.
I honestly don't know how that's gonna work. Especially with how we're gonna follow that with the fall season or another spring
Exactly.
season, or how we're gonna do that. But I'm gonna remain optimistic and hope to play, of course, because that's what we are with football players. But my I don't really have an opinion on the spring yet because I'm not close enough to it.
Yeah.
But I just think it'd be weird, but I'd love to play in the spring if it came down to it.
You just want to play, period. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter when. You
That's
just
what
want
it
to play.
seems like.
Exactly. Exactly.
They can tell me I'm playing tomorrow. I'd probably go strap them up, fly, get on the airplane
Heck
with
yeah.
shoulder pads on and everything.
Here you
I
go.
like that attitude. Well, I mean, I've seen that option about playing in the spring, and it's pretty, it's weird because let's say if you do play in the spring, they're not going to push back next year's football season. When August hits, 2020-21 season will start. So you potentially could burn 2 years of eligibility in 1 year.
Wow.
So that means you're
Wow.
playing in the spring and then you play in the fall. But the difference between playing in the spring right now is you playing for something. Whereas some of these teams playing in the fall, they're not really playing for anything. They're just, now, like for us, like UTC, they're playing, like they want to play these 3 non-conference games, but you're just playing football just to be playing football. Where when the spring comes, you're actually playing for a championship. Now it's different for the SEC, all the other 3 other
ACC,
conferences.
yeah, Big 12.
ACC, they're playing for that conference. But then that's when the question arises. So when the college football playoffs start off, we pin these teams in, or we just saying, forget the Big Ten, forget the other guys. So, what you say? What you think?
Yeah. Ultimately, I mean, it depends on how bad guys want to play. It depends on the individual, obviously. I mean, I'd guess that we'd see an option to opt out of the spring, especially, with like how one of you guys said that, you're losing 2 years eligibility in 1 year. And that, that's when you said that, it kind of clicked in my mind. That's a really good thing. But I think that, as Therese was saying, that playing in the fall for nothing, I mean, it depends how bad guys want to play. If you're losing, eligibility from 3 games, my opinion, I have my opinions on that. But, I mean, if it depends how bad guys want it. 3 games, I don't know. But, I mean, if it's 10, and if they don't count, what if guys in the big conference like a Big Ten or, UTC, if these guys are really good, they can show what they can do at the next level in 10 games. I mean,
True.
you're not really playing for nothing. So
You're right.
I guess it depends on what stage of you are as a player, like these people that are, their 3rd year into college, if they're actually trying to be drafted, they would really appreciate actually being able to showcase their talents, in the fall, whether it be for something or nothing, so, I mean, shoot, you mentioned it, Justin Fields, he's going into probably, I think most of us would say his last year here in college. He played so good, last year, and this year he's already looking like a Heisman finalist and, playing on a good Ohio State team. He's competing right now to maybe beat out Trevor Lawrence as that first quarterback drafted in this year's, NFL draft. So, I mean, it's a good way to look at it. One question I have, and it's another little wrinkle in all this. So this side, I told you I was big in recruiting, and, obviously something that's really became paramount in college football is the transfer portal. One thing that's kind of tossed around, you see it on Twitter, people talk about it, well, if Big Ten doesn't play, if Pac-12 doesn't play, could you possibly see some of these players looking to transfer to some of these conferences that could, that are being able to play? People were joking around. Could we see Justin Fields, transferring to Ohio State, then transferring back to Georgia just to be able to play in the fall? Is this something that you think that that players in these other conferences would even consider?
Whenever we start talking about the transfer portal, that's a big thing in college football. It kind of gives players a voice,
Exactly.
to do what they want to do. But I mean, talking about the transfer portal, I'd honestly just say it's up to the individual, man. It depends on how the individual feels, if they're older or younger, if they're trying to showcase that third-year talent that they've worked for, for the past 3 years, this past off season. But I mean, the transfer portal, we already know.
A whole nother animal.
Yeah, it's a whole nother animal. I could talk for days about it, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to talk days about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, could we see Justin Fields back at Georgia? Maybe, but I'm just gonna focus on what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna stay true to my school, and
For sure.
we'll see what the next couple of years hold, but as of right now, I mean, Indiana, I'm all Indiana. I've been Indiana since I've been recruited from Indiana. So, I mean, we'll just see what other guys do. I mean, that's their choice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got a question more of like Indiana overall. How is the atmosphere in Indiana right now in Hoosier? Because currently you're looking at students going back to school. Will you be going back to school at Indiana this semester?
Of course. Actually, I'm still trying to figure out, what I'm gonna do. I plan on, going back to school, but maybe, with all this going on, maybe online school is the best option. But at the same time, if we're gonna be working out and we're gonna be up there, I mean, going to school, wouldn't be such a bad idea. You gotta protect yourself, but we still the college experience is a big thing. I want to be on campus. I want to stay in my own apartment. I've been at home for 18 years.
Yeah,
so
time to get out, right?
Yeah, it's time. It's time to get out. But the atmosphere, I mean, you can feel anywhere. That's probably at every school around the country right now that has canceled football or doesn't know if they're going to play or if they're not practicing right now. It's probably it's not as exciting as it would be if there was football being played, but it's still a college campus. Some people on the campus are clueless that we have a football team. So,
Wow.
we're not
really?
like no.
Basketball's like the biggest thing in Indiana right now, right?
I know basketball.
Yeah. I would say that basketball is a pretty big thing in Indiana, but I wasn't saying like there are students who don't know that we have a football team. I'm just saying, there are students everywhere in the country that aren't in the sports and they don't really, they don't really care about sports. They could care less about if the school is having a Saturday night football game. Like they may be into a Monday morning classroom session. That may keep them excited all weekend long, but it's just different for everybody. I just that's just how I feel about it.
I'll tell you one thing, you're so right on that, because I'll never forget the time I asked a student. He was really smart, really smart. He's book smart. He carries books around everywhere you go. I mean, he's at you can tell you're smart students.
You can.
And we was talking and I was like, it was last semester, and I was like, it's like just like we was talking about something, but I brought up Michael Jordan. And he said, who is that? He said, who is that? And I was like, it shocked me. I was like, you don't know who that is?
Hey,
He's like,
that's when you pull out the Stanley Hudson from Office. Boy, have you lost your mind? Because I'll help you find it.
right?
Yeah.
I'm still like,
Yeah.
dude, there's no way you don't know who Michael Jordan is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's what I'm
he's like, I've
saying.
never heard of that. I said, he plays NBA basketball. He said, oh, he plays in the NBA. I was like, yeah. He's like, I said, he used to. Yeah. He's like, oh, he said, I don't watch sports. He said, they just don't
Some
interest
people,
me.
hey, some people
And I was like,
that's their take, man. They that's not their cup of tea. Sports ain't their
yeah,
cup of tea. So,
Exactly.
that's shocking. I said, there's
yeah.
no way you can be going around this world and don't know Michael Jordan. I thought I
Yeah,
would never
exactly.
meet that person in my life. I know,
Uh-huh.
but I did, and I was so shocked. Boy, so
Yeah.
You know,
sports is a big thing for our economy overall. I mean, it helps our schools. It helps a lot of things. It helps people in community. I mean, not having football having football keeps a lot of kids out of trouble. So not having it now, tell them what people will do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things out there in the world that people should be a part of, and football takes a lot of kids and people in the community away from that. So, just hope and pray everything goes well.
Building off of what Therese said, and off of what I said, we're from Macon, Georgia, Jones County, wherever,
Yeah.
Middle Georgia. I think in Georgia, football is a really big thing, but we're looking at people. We got students from all across the globe, maybe in China. That probably football probably doesn't excite them at all, or any place. I mean, in Europe, they may not know much about football, so that's why I think like Therese, you maybe encountered that situation, or I know if you go to one of these schools over here, everybody's like, "You going to the game tonight?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how it is. That's how it is here in Georgia, and I mean, all the big states, football, Georgia, California, Florida, Texas. I mean, that's big, but maybe when you start talking about a state such as New York, I mean that basketball is a really big thing there. So you know what I'm saying? So that's what I think, and also what Therese said, keeping kids out of trouble playing football. I mean, that's a really big thing. That's what I've seen on social media. People were saying, college, even college players were saying, I don't want to go back home. There ain't nothing for me at home. Ain't nothing but trouble at home. So being on this campus is the safest place for me. So, that's that really.
Yeah, there's one thing I want to ask you about this too, because we had talked about it in one other podcast about because Trevor Lawrence, I'm sure you saw it on Twitter not too long ago. He was coming out talking about all these precautions that the NCAA could take, what the players actually feel like, in regards to playing football. But this is a way for them to be away from home, get away from, like what you said, being in certain situations. They're probably, some of them, they were even saying they're safer at the school than they are back home because they actually have professionals looking after them. They have, all this health supplies they could probably need right there being, as opposed to being at home where, you just kind of count on mama to, have her, remedies to, to take care of you and stuff like that. So, I mean, you're in better hands, there. But I was really going to get your take on this too, because I heard you say that this transfer portal is like a way for players to express their voice, and right now we're in a world of sports that it's unprecedented. The athletes are starting to get more say in things than they ever have before. We're looking at this now. It's the player empowerment era, as Bill Simmons would say. And could the next step? I got a question for you. Could the next step be maybe having a college football players union? You have these big names like Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, these people like advocating for the players. And I don't necessarily think it would be a bad idea, to have a voice, from somebody that's your age going through exactly what you're going through that could represent, you guys as a whole. We kind of need that, I feel like. But what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that are, is whatever that one is, but I think that it would be very beneficial for the college, for the NCAA to have a players union or whatever. But at the same time, you also have to remember that I'm 18 years old. We got 18-year-olds and through 22-year-olds on this players union, but these guys have to be super mature and
That's right.
Each one has
You're
to have
right.
an equal voice, and like from Ohio State and let's say Ohio State and Illinois are in the argument. We don't need people just siding with Ohio State's advocator because they're a bigger school. So, I mean, I think it would have to be a very like each school would have to nominate the most mature person,
Yeah.
not the best player, but the most mature person on their team to be able have that players union. But I mean, I don't think it'd be a bad idea, but it'd take a lot of maturity for it.
Yeah, not even just like a player union, but maybe just player advocates.
Yep,
Somebody that
yep.
could speak on the behalf of the players themselves, and you just
Mm-hmm.
voice those opinions for sure.
And you just made a great point, Dexter. I mean, when you talk about maturity, you just basically made that point for your own self. Advocate for your team, because a lot of players would never thought of that. They were like, "Oh, man, this guy's the best player on the team. I'm gonna have him come be the spokesman for our union, our part of the union." Where, in all honesty, it's not always that's the case. Sometimes the best player isn't always the best player you want to have step forward you in certain situations. So, I mean, that's really good. Yes, that would determine a lot of maturity. Like we had some guys on our team. We're asking 17, 18-year-old guys whether or not we want to play these 3 games when they never even been here. They don't understand the complexity of a full practice of college, a full season. We know what a full college season is. These 17, 18-year-olds, they don't know yet. They haven't been through that experience yet. So it's hard to put them in that situation. And like I said, we're living in times where there's uncertainty. Nobody knows what the heck is going on. We don't know what's going forward. We don't know. We don't know. Literally, nobody knows right now. So until things start to become clear, until some things start to become more broad for us, we just stuck. So we got to basically play it by ear. Adapt.
True.
Adapt to whatever comes to us. But right now, a lot of us, we're uncertain. So I like what you said about that maturity.
Yep. I totally agree with you there. We are in times of uncertainty. And that's, as I said earlier, or whenever I said it, that we just wanted answers for a long time, that everybody just wanted answers. We didn't care what the answer was or how it came out, or if it was we played 2 games or a half a game maybe. But we just wanted an answer for what we were going to do. And now that it's out for this, we're looking for more answers. We're searching for even more. So I mean, we are definitely living in an uncertain time.
You're right. So anything else kind of going on? I was going to change it to a different direction. I want to get it off of the because I want to get a little optimism in here, because I know that your take on this upcoming season, you had to have had some high hopes, right? Coming in as a freshman this year. I kind of wanted to hear what your thoughts were or are, if we are able to pick up the season of, the state of Indiana right now. What are you guys looking like as a football team for this upcoming season, whenever that may be?
I think that, maybe I'm biased, but I've watched a lot of football, seen a lot of football. I think we have some amazing players on our team. I mean, some younger guys are, coming from Georgia. I've seen really good talent, but I've seen some guys on our team who, we got, Mike Penix. I've seen he can throw the ball. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but other than myself, I really haven't seen anyone throw the ball like he has. And we got running backs who are 240 pounds, running a 4.5, 4.4. I mean, receivers just blazing fast. And I mean, we got people on the Maxwell Award list. We got people on the Balentikov Award list. We got linemen on that award. I'm not sure what it's called. We got a guy on, the DB award, we have, and the tight end award. I mean, I think that this could have really been a special year, or still could be a special year for Indiana. As like I said, we're trying to be a powerhouse in the Big Ten, and this could be our year to prove ourselves, with all those weapons, and, all that. We have some really good upperclassmen leading the way. We got some younger guys who are, such as I'm going to give you a really good example. Tywan Mullen, I think I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but came from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, cornerback. His brother's in the NFL right now. I told you he played cornerback, and I mean, I've never seen a cornerback as good as him, but when I look at him and then you're looking in the same direction, we have a safety or whatever position like a free or a rover that is also on the list, to win that DB award. Like he's
Y'all
really good.
stacked.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, they're the Taiwan as a freshman, he'd be the number one like returning corner in the Big Ten, and like 2 spots behind him, we have a guy like on our team. They're 1 and then 1 and 3, coming back. So, I mean, not like this is not just freshmen. This is all ages,
Yeah.
and I mean, this could have been a really big year, especially for we just got a new offensive coordinator, Coach Sheridan. I love Coach Sheridan.
Mm-hmm.
We got some really big playmakers on offense, and we got some really good linemen. Like I said, I think this could have been, or still could be, as I should say, a really big year for Indiana.
I'm about to say, because I was getting ready to look at y'all schedule, and man,
I was doing the same.
I was about to say, I'm enjoying it. I would have loved to see these games.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin, Penn State, obviously,
Friday night.
Ohio State, Minnesota, Michigan State, Purdue. I mean, man,
it's crazy.
And plus,
games, trying to get to a bowl game in there.
Right.
We were gonna have a bowl game, but I mean, some of those trophy games, such as the bucket game, us and Purdue, in-state rivals, long-time rival.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see us compete against, Wisconsin one last time on a Friday night, because that was going to be a Friday night game for us. And, that would have been my last Friday night game, and I would have been walking out there all hyped, feeling like I was, one last Friday night, I'm going out there.
Yeah.
And, like, it'd be so fun. But, I mean, even as a player, it'd be fun to, like, see that happening right in front of my eyes and, being in that fire, playing with those guys, you know what I'm saying? But like Therese said, I mean, that would have been big for us.
Seriously.
And I truly believe, I mean, I'm currently looking back at y'all's schedule from last year, and y'all had a lot of big time games, and y'all competed. Like Michigan State, you only lost by 9, on the road. Then Penn State, you lost 34-27. I mean, these some big time teams that the games were close.
In a tough conference. I mean, you guys are on the side of the conference that has like Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State. Maryland's actually coming up. Rutgers has a decent coach now.
I'd say we're in probably maybe the toughest conference in college football.
You could argue it.
Got a great case.
I could definitely argue that we are in the toughest conference. Ohio State's in there, and every year, they're gonna come with some fire.
You ain't kidding, man.
And Michigan and Penn State and Michigan State,
exactly.
Man. Yeah. You're
exactly.
right.
Even watching as a recruit last year, I was sometimes so like, I was like, man, we should have had that one. Like we'd be losing games by, less than 10 points or, less than 1 score. You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, it was big. The bowl game, we lost by 1 point.
Who'd y'all play in that bowl game last year?
We played Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Pretty good matchup there.
Rocky Top. We were supposed to have, I was there.
Nice.
I mean, if we don't miss a field goal, we don't miss a PAT, we win that game. We win a bowl game and we beat SEC team. That's been really big for our program. And I mean, we could have been 11-win, like everybody was talking about 9-win Indiana, 10-win Indiana. We could have been 11-win Indiana. Competing. You know what I'm saying? For sure. That's my take on it.
The future's bright.
Even just talking about it is really giving me,
that's exciting.
I'm about to say you're opening up big time now, man.
You are.
Yeah.
Now, I was about to ask this mainly. Now, they did come out with, like, let's say if y'all did play football games. It was talking about playing without fans. Now, I'm willing to bet to being able to play in the atmosphere of the Big Ten, how would that have been, like, overall? I mean, imagine playing against an Ohio State or Michigan with no fans. What would be your thoughts on that?
Ooh, that'd be like extremely weird, especially
that would be.
Some of those stadiums holding over 100,000 people.
Seriously,
that'd be extremely weird. But I know the Big Ten or the NCAA would come up with something that like made it feel like a better atmosphere, and it wasn't just like, sounds like practice and just only players talking and stuff like that. But I mean, it would have been weird, but like at the same, like I'm trying to like that, the scale, that little balance scale, like you put something on, like you like it's like here is my dreams and hopes as a young kid playing in that big stadium, but here's also my dreams and hope and as playing like even just playing college football.
Exactly.
Yeah, so like I mean, it balanced itself out, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. I mean, initially I said, man, that wouldn't be the move, but
hopefully if God provides, you'll be able to, have that experience multiple times here. So
exactly.
With the upcoming seasons and all, so that'll be good. Well, so we're getting here toward the end of the show. Is there any final things you want to leave the Indiana fans, these about the futures or what they can be expecting from you here?
I'm gonna play my butt off every time I step on the field. I'm gonna encourage whoever's on the field. I'm gonna lead if I'm on the field or if I'm off the field. I mean, you can really expect big things. I work my butt off constantly. I'm always on film and watching film and learning from Mike and any older guy or any coach, taking everything in. So, I mean, expect big things from Indiana in the next couple of years, next year, this year, whatever it is, and the years after that and the years after that, because I know that we're going to lead the way, to even more big-time recruits coming in to Indiana. So, I mean, definitely. Indiana, and people who are scared of it, like who don't think Indiana's all that, or people, Indiana rivals. I mean, just look out because we're coming.
It's it. Well, I can tell you one thing. They're getting somebody that's very loyal to the program. From everything you've said here, you're sold all the way with Indiana, and it looks like it's going to be a bright future for you there, man. I appreciate having you on. Torres, any last words before we end the show here?
No whatsoever, man. I'm so excited to see my boy play. I can't wait till whenever we get back to football playing again, man. I cannot wait to see him play. The man can throw the ball, man. Look, Indiana, y'all don't know what y'all got yet. Yeah, boy, y'all better just wait.
You're going to find out soon.
Yeah, sure. I mean, thank y'all for having me, man. It was really a pleasure. I really
seriously, man. I thought you were great.
Really had fun talking football. Haven't really talked much about it other than, with my family. They don't know too much about football. If they didn't hear that. But it's all good. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoy talking ball, though. I mean, it was seriously really fun. Whenever y'all, if y'all ever, can't find someone or somebody backs out, just get me on here and we can talk basketball, baseball.
Oh,
okay. There we go. All right. Yeah. So, all right. We'll keep you on the docket. That's for sure, man. Whenever we need somebody, we got you now. Well, Dexter, man, like I said, it was a pleasure having you, man. You're really good at this kind of stuff. I know the future's going to be bright for you, man. But thank you guys for listening in. Do yourself a favor. Do us a favor. Subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, really anywhere you can listen to podcasts. Share it with your friends. Follow us. You can follow us on Twitter at the TNT Podcast. So give us a follow there as well. And we'll see you next time.
Hey, follow me too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Instagram, Dexter.
There you go.
Hey, I'll tag you. We'll tag you up in there, man. All right.
Sir, appreciate it.
Y'all have a good one.